Hello and welcome. I am here with Katarzyna Rutkowska, and I hope I pronounce it well.
Very well.
Thank you. So I know Katarzyna because she is an energy healer like me, and we came to talk with each other because I saw she has beautiful programs and energy meditations about the divine masculine, divine feminine, and how to balance them, which to me is one of the most important topics that we had about when we want to bring in this new divine feminine, but also because the masculine energy gets a bad rep sometimes, and I totally get it. There's a lot of toxicity, but there's also divine masculine, and it lives in all of us. If you are a man or a woman. My father, for instance, had a lot of divine masculine and feminine energies. So my what is this? How do you say this? The not expression. What
Experience?
you experience? Yeah. Sorry. Sometimes a word, a very simple word, gets out of my head and seems to go far away. So my experience with the masculine has actually been really, really wonderful, and and it helps me to have my own masculinity in my own life in a more beautiful way. And but I was really I was so surprised and wonderfully happy to talk to Katarzyna about this, and I wanted to. I have asked her to. I invited her to join me in my Divine Sisterhood table talk, because I felt there were stories that are inspiring for anyone who wants to feel or wants to be inspired about, okay, but what does it mean to choose a life, a business, a relationship out of unconditional love? So I invited her here, and there she is. So I already said a little bit about you, Katarzyna, but can you tell me a little bit more about where you are right now in life and in business?
Thank you very much, first of all, and you're pronouncing my name perfectly.
Oh,
So
yoo-hoo! I'm
it's
so
great.
happy.
Yes, and I'm a healer, energy healer, and I'm also a life alignment practitioner and teacher. It's a technique that works on emotions, works on the body, works on energy. And you've talked about the feminine, masculine, and not feminine, not feminine masculine, the divine masculine and
Yeah.
divine feminine. And this came really last year. I've decided to combine both because, like you're saying, we concentrate on the feminine, but the masculine is sort of left behind. And we all have both masculine and feminine in us. It's not depending on gender, on our sex.
Exactly.
We have it. Women have feminine and masculine, and men have them as well. And this was more a channeled thing. It came, and I created this system. And now it's got 2 stages. So the first stage is it's 6 webinars working with the divine feminine masculine in us and outside as well. We meet the energies, we get acquainted with the energies because we are usually not aware of them, and we work with archetypes, we work with gods, goddesses, saints, whoever comes up. And the leading role, let's say, is the Mary Magdalene, who's really epitomizing. She is the divine feminine, and we have the Christ energy as well, who is the divine masculine. And so this is another thing. So I do other webinars as well. I work with healers, with Ursula, my colleague. We do this soul webinars where we connect to different energies. We're working on causal body 3 now at the moment, for example. So there are different things, and also one-on-one sessions in life alignment or in healing. But my journey started completely differently because I come from a highly academic family. So both my parents with PhDs, with engineering and chemistry.
That is quite a step, right?
Oh, yes. And I have an MA in economics and the other one in politics. So
economics and politics.
Yeah, so I was really brought up to be, maybe not an academic, but a businesswoman, someone who works in an office and deals with squares. And I like dealing with squares. My thinking is sort of quite square, which we could call masculine. And at the same time, I was very sensitive, but I just wasn't realizing what it was. And I was picking up other people's feelings, emotions. I would get very emotional, not knowing why. And it was only many years later I was told, "Where actually you're picking up other people's feelings and emotions. They're not yours." And it was such a revelation.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And so because you live now in London, right? Do you live in the city?
Yeah, I live not in the city. I live in North London, but it's on the outskirts of London.
Yeah.
I'm all in all, I'm more a city girl. I like the city. I like the vibe. Obviously, in the present situation, you could be anywhere.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The vibe is the same, probably much more quieter. But yes, I like the movement. I love traveling. I can't stay in one place just for a long time. So I love traveling, and hopefully soon I will be able to do it. Will be able to do it. So this is, yes, my life. But so I started in the city. I started working with many men, being surrounded by really masculine.
And where in the city? In
city of London.
Oh, yeah. Because you already moved to London then?
Yes,
because you grew
after
up
my studies. Yes.
Okay.
I grew up in Poland. I grew up in Warsaw, and then I moved to England when I married.
Okay.
So, and I worked in the city of London. So very masculine energy, very focused, very direct. Everything needs to be done yesterday, obviously, but it gave me great focus, and I really enjoyed the masculine way of being, this direct, logical, really focused energy, because we all need it. It would be nice just to dance in the meadows every day and constantly, but you need to also know which way in the meadow, to the left or to the right. So we need that direction. And I got on very well with men, because we understood each other. It was very direct, very conscious in a way as well. So for me, the feminine energy was a bit, what is it all about? Women just stay at home and they look after children and they whatever. But then I became a woman who stayed at home and looked after my daughter. So I became something I didn't understand. I didn't know what it was. And I had to embrace the feminine, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't clear in the beginning, but slowly, it was coming out of the mind, of the masculine mind, thinking. I had to get into my heart, into the loving, caring, providing in a different way. So it was quite a big shift when I became, a housewife, a mother, something that I was probably making fun of before, and suddenly you become, be careful what you make fun of, because you may become it.
What made you choose then to, because there are also a lot of women who choose
the
to
choice.
Oh, I see that we're back again. Yeah. There can be wait a moment. So because you could So you chose to stay at home. There are also other options, but what made you choose?
It was almost, the choice was made for me, because
Okay.
I was made redundant from the city. And
Uh-huh.
then, you wanted to talk also about self or unconditional love. And for me, unconditional love needs to start with self. I need to love myself unconditionally without judgment. I need
Yeah.
to follow my calling. And then my calling was to set up a coffee business in Poland, which is not a great idea to run a business from abroad. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody.
So you stayed in London, but you wanted a
Yes,
coffee business in Poland.
yes. And
Interesting.
it happened. It was a great coffee. It's just you need to run a cash business being there. But I would travel. I traveled every month, but it was a huge lesson, and I appreciated, very painful, but it needed to happen. It needed to be. And I'm a Cancerian, so we create vessels. I just needed to create this vessel for people where they can meet, exchange ideas, and be. I did it. It didn't work. Very painful, but now I'm really grateful for the lessons, because they took me on the journeys of self-discovery. It's then, when I stayed at home, when I spent time with my daughter, she was growing up, and I stepped on the journey of healing. So
Can I just want to talk about something, because in this time where so many people stay at home, you can see that there's an increase of people using their intuition and discovering their own healing abilities and energy healing and this whole self-healing that is going on around so many people and one isolation and all those kind of things, but from the shamanic way or the energetic healing way, you need isolation in a way. And I remember a, as a mom, when I was young, I couldn't do it. I had to it took me a bit longer to get there. I had to really decide to have a little bit of isolation, a little bit more of me on my own, because I was always around it with a lot of people. But you talking about this being alone, and I just wanted to point it out to people that that we are all going through, that so many women, when they stay at home and choose this vocation of caring for their children, they go already through so much of that we are now all going through. And if you wonder why is a mother's intuition most of the time so sharp, this might be one of your answers. And also a little bit more respect, please, for all those mothers who stay at home and do this stuff, who really take on this journey. Okay, I just wanted to that just came out.
came.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's a great thing to mention, that we need almost solitude. Obviously, being with children, it's a different kind of solitude, but
Yeah,
being
but
withdrawn
still.
from the world,
Mm-hmm.
of work and office, and because it gives you, and obviously depression may happen, other things may happen as well, that draw us in, because the depression will draw us in. It's about, and then you discover the things. Usually people who discover healing abilities or being connected to others, they will go through some kind of depression or some kind of horrendous thing in their life.
Or a sort of crisis, at least. Yeah.
And then suddenly something opens.
Mm.
Something opens in the person. And yes, we probably, most of us had something like this, and this dark night of the soul, when everything's crashing.
Mm.
You just don't know where to turn, and you turn inward because there's nowhere else to go. And I think, I don't know if you agree with me, but it's you learn to depend on yourself, on the inner truth, the inner knowing, because nobody can advise you. People can say, oh, how about this or how about that?
Absolutely.
It doesn't resonate.
Yeah.
So it's this connection to our inner self, to our inner knowing. I think this is the most important. And then this self-love. Oh, if I know who I am, I can love myself with, the dark sides and the light sides as well. And like we've talked before, it's work in progress. I think one day you love yourself unconditionally, and the next day, maybe not.
Yeah, one moment it's like, oh, I completely get me, and I can see the beauty, and then it can be 5 minutes later or a day later, like what the hell? And it's all the same person. It's just a perception. It's just a little bit around the corner, and it's oops.
Yeah. And why did I just say that?
Yeah,
and
but
why have I done it?
Yeah, but
Yes.
I do love that the judgment gets less and less and less. It's just like, oh yeah, that part's also there. Interesting. I'm still very, very human. And it's a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and maybe more acceptance as well, that self-acceptance. That today I actually had a session with my friend. We work on each other doing swaps, and this like judgments came up, and I said, where are they coming from? Why, I should be all this love and light person, and no, I'm not. And I accept it. Before I would hide it, sweep it under the carpet, but now I have to acknowledge it.
Yes.
And say, okay, it's there. And I have this issue with like acceptance and acknowledgement, because accept for me is very passive. Okay, I accept someone is not nice to me. If I acknowledge it, I can do something with it. Accept for me is more passive, but it's just language.
Yeah, but it's to me it's really like sometimes when I have a pain or I hear a thing to my ear, it's like a zzz. And then nowadays I'm not going, I accept this pain. I'm just like, oh, okay, what are you all about? Tell me. I just start talking to it straight away. A headache, okay. What are you all about? What is it that you want to? And then something else comes out.
Yeah, it's this conscious, being self-aware who we are and loving ourselves unconditionally. Yes, with all the dark sides that we've been hiding for a very long time.
Yeah, so I remember very specific moments in my own life where I was where you say this it could have been the dark night of the soul. And in a way it was, but at the same time, that moment that you can turn to nobody else but yourself in a way of, okay, but what is it to you? What does it mean to you? It's not about what the rest of the world thinks, because the rest of the world has an opinion, believe me. But I am in this situation, and what is my inner response to this situation, this particular moment? And then looking from a place of unconditional love, that it was something completely different, turned out to be completely different than how the world would have looked at it. Yeah, so I was talking about this, that there are moments in life when it's very easy to when you look at it from how would it be. In this case, it was something in a relationship, and it would have been so easy to take on this cloth of I've been a scorn or whatever, and then seeing, you know what, this is actually the best thing that is possible at this moment, because it's just where we are right now, and it opens up so much growth opportunity, and then life becomes completely about something else. That is those unconditional loving moments where you think, you know what, this is not about the story of repeating wounds. That is what I really would love to. Do you have I'm not quite sure if you can hear me right now, but if you can, what personal experience do you have that you are able to talk? Have you heard what I said before?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
What personal experience did you have that you can tell me about or want to tell me about, where you can find such a moment of, oh, okay, I'm going to choose something about how I look at it, because I can see this well of unconditional love that actually speaks from my own soul into the world, which can be something completely different than um, what we see around us.
Mm-hmm.
Because that
Yes.
is, to me, always the pinpoint. Okay, now leadership comes through. This is about what is yours, how does your soul is leading you in your way.
Yeah, I always think when we're talking about soul, I think my soul is sitting somewhere drinking margaritas or
I
maybe
love that.
when I'm doing all the hard work. But the soul is saying the harder the better. We're learning so much, and I'm saying I'm learning. How about you?
Mm.
So my, margarita drinking soul, I think is enjoying. The deeper I go into the dark night of the soul is saying, yeah, let's
Yeah.
do it.
Mm.
You've signed for it. But for
Mm.
me, it was probably the end of my 30s when everything, the business didn't work out. It was really, really difficult. And I it was to get up in the morning or do something. And I decided, okay, at the moment I'm not going the maybe the medical way. I could go get Prozac or something and get out of the depression. But I said, okay, let's look at something different. And this is when I listened to myself, because my inner truth was find a different way. And I'm not negating. If I needed it, obviously I would do it. So if I needed some other things, but at this moment it was, let's find another way. And this is how my journey started, the healing journey, because I met an amazing teacher. He became my mentor. He's dead now, but he was teaching me about healing. It was a coincidence, but I opened to coincidences. And so we met. He started teaching me. Then I did my course in healing. It was an intensive course in the College of Psychic Studies in London. Then I did a year of psychosynthesis, which is a transpersonal psychology. And then I stepped on the route of life alignment. So
Yeah.
it all fell into place when I listened to myself.
Yeah.
When in this deepest, darkest moment, I said, what do I need? What is really what I need? And very often when we're younger, we have all these expectations. Life should be like this. Life should be.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think age teaches you that expectations are fine, but they're not usually met. So, and expecting, oh, this person should do this, or this person should do that. No, I know I was expected to do things and I disappointed people, and I was disappointed by people as well. So I think we won't disappoint ourselves. If we connect to ourselves, there won't be a disappointment, because we have this relationship with ourselves that hopefully we won't disappoint ourselves. And this is this unconditional love that we so easily do things for other people. Yes, oh yes, I do this, I will save you, I will do whatever, but we don't do it for ourselves. And it's about the role reversal. We have to start doing the things for ourselves and not feel guilty, usually. And not, oh, I'm selfish, I'm this or that. No, we need to come first. We need to be really committed to ourselves, and then we can serve others. And I know it's a cliche, everybody says it, but we need to feel it. If it comes from the heart, and probably as more as women, we've been trained to give. Give to your family, give to your work, give to your clients. And we need to learn to receive, because a feminine way, we're going back to feminine and masculine, the feminine way is about receiving. We are even built to receive. But we've been trained to constantly give, to deplete our energy. And if I receive, I'm selfish. I'm not a good woman, because a woman should give. It's all the shoulds, and I hate the word should. And the masculine is supposed to be giving. But in our culture, we've reversed the roles. The masculine is receiving and the feminine is giving, which is completely wrong. It's not natural. We can only give if we're supported. We can only give if we're held and feel safe. We need to feel safe to keep giving. So time for, I think, role reversal and allow women to receive, to feel okay. Even how difficult it is for us to get a compliment. You know, we brush it off. Oh no. so
Yeah, it's interesting when that happens, because you can see how it's almost like a sting. I remember this from receiving people coming to me after a concert and saying, "Oh, I was so moved." And finding it so hard to receive that truth for them, because I could see so many faults going on. Oh, that this wasn't good, that blah, 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 blah. And then in comes a person who says, "You gave me something," and then sort of almost rejecting the truth of other people. And not receiving is actually it's a really harsh thing, not only for yourself but to others too, because there you are with all your, with the praise, with even with the money, here I want to pay you, I want to work with you, yeah, I'm not quite sure if I'm good enough, like, why? And we know what it's all about, why we have that, but still it's so good to I love how you say we have a sort of reversed work to do there. I was thinking about,
it is this unconditional love.
Yeah, and because the unconditional part means that it has truly no condition. That what I receive for myself as when it rings, it always sounds to me like it rings truth. That is for me when the quality of unconditional love is about that it is about your deepest truth that lies inside of your heart. And I reckon, because I'm a musician, but I feel it as a chord that's exactly right. And you cannot, there are many possibilities, but it's your chord that is true for you. And that chord can be different for someone else. And I completely respect that. But now here I am with my chord, and I have to say yes to that chord because it's my chord. I cannot make another harmony out of it until I've said yes to it. So and how are you as a you're a completely different person, and how would you describe this knowingness?
What you've said, I love what you've said, that I respect the other person, because I want to be respected for who I am, and I respect others. So I give respect to others, but please give the respect back to me. Again,
Yeah.
expectations, I may
Yeah.
get it or not, but at least I want an equal exchange. And this knowing, like you're saying, it is, yeah, knowing that this is my music and the music I am, it's something that it feels right. It's about feeling. It's about, because the head will say, I don't know, maybe yes, or whatever. But there's this feeling, for example, when this chorus was coming, I was like in a trance. The things were just happening and were flowing. It's flow, it's happening, it's coincidences, things just fall into place. And it doesn't mean it will always be easy and it will be just roses, road with roses. No, but it just feels right. This is my truth. It's almost like I don't have to explain anything, because this is the truth. I don't have to
love
explain
this.
myself.
Yeah.
This is the truth.
Yeah.
As long as we're not hurting anybody and living our truth.
And even
nothing to explain.
okay, now you're saying as long as we're not hurting anybody, because sometimes a truth can be, it becomes, I've heard this said before, as long as we're not hurting anybody, we can follow up but sometimes you do hurt people.
Yeah, despite
And and that means to me that's one of the questions I always bring in, because sometimes we go through life's changes, and in because the moment you change a pattern, it always feels a little bit discomfortable, and sometimes it's hugely discomfortable. And one of the things in there is always my question: have you had to gain extra abilities to help people to come with you, or explain it, or better communication skills, or to really get into the depth of, okay, but I really feel I need to change. How can I bring you with me? Or I am going through this change. How am I going to explain this to others? Or as what you said, you don't even have to explain, which I completely adore. And not only adore, it's really because it's the Queen's way. It's this, you do have to share your vision. If you want to bring people with you, you share your vision. Please do that. But it's something else than pleading, please come with me. It's not like that at all. And so what would you say did you use as a skill, or what is your special way of bringing people with you?
It's quite a tricky question, because I don't know if I have it. It's when you follow your path. Yes, it's about sharing it with people, but not expecting them to follow, because they may have a completely different path. So it's more about less convincing, I think, because it will be, please, but saying, this is my way, this is what I'm doing, and take it or leave it. It's giving the other person, because it also empowers the other person they have a choice.
Absolutely.
It's not, you have to go with me, or you have to this. And like in a relationship, any relationship, this is unconditional love, because this is not the sexual love or the amorous love, but the love to another person, that I love you, but I let you be yourself. And if you want to leave, you leave. If you want to stay, you stay. I will love you no matter what. And this is, hopefully most of us are learning it now. It's not this stay, oh, please love me, or whatever. No, I will love you no matter what. And this is probably what Mary Magdalene and Christ had. They had to love each other unconditionally, because she had to love him and let him die on the cross.
Mm.
Not say, oh, if you love me, please don't go and
Yeah,
do it.
yeah. Please be a little bit more less outspoken.
and all these things. So, and yeah, what's coming to me now, I never thought about it. It's allowing the other person to live their own path, you know, our own journey as well. So with unconditional love, there are no conditions.
Yeah.
You can't stay with me because you're a bad person if you don't, or
Yeah.
you know, you're a bad child, or you're a bad partner, or you're a bad business partner if you do something differently. It's very hard. It's not an easy path, but it's about allowing the other person be who they are.
Yeah.
And loving them unconditionally, loving your parent, child, partner, colleague in this kind of way, and also loving ourselves enough to say, okay, follow your path.
Yeah.
And interesting what you said about this hurting, because yeah, I agree, sometimes we need to hurt people, and if we don't follow our path, we hurt ourselves.
Exactly. That's the whole.
So
Yeah. Sometimes
it
that's the
shows
thing.
in our health, it
Yeah.
shows in our mental health,
Yeah.
spiritual, physical. And very often we hurt ourselves to please others.
Mm. Mm.
And then when we learn this self-love, then we stop, or we learn how to stop hurting ourselves.
Mm. Is there also, because yes, the unconditional love, which is also very much, or maybe even more about yourself, do you feel that there are also unbreakable barriers in your own, for yourself, like that's a big no, I'm not crossing that line, I'm just that this is it? Because sometimes that can be what I've seen, that this big no, it has so much to do with your life values, like, okay, you, this is all possible, but not here. This is not going to be in, I always call it like, this is not going to happen in my realm. That can happen outside, whatever, but this is an unbreakable barrier, and not even a barrier, it's an unbreakable, this is not going, I just don't want that in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And that when people, sometimes you need to find that edge in order to get to the full power of, okay, but that means that I'm about this and this and this. And do you have something, what not if you don't want to talk about it, but just the feeling of what it,
Yeah.
if you have that in place?
It makes me think now. It's about strong boundaries, and I must say the last 10 years have taught me about boundaries more and more. Before, yeah, anybody could cross my boundaries. I was very allowing. And it's about saying no as well. You know, when do I say no? And I know if someone told me, you can't continue on the path you're on, or you can't travel, because I love traveling, this would be my definitely no's. If someone said, no, from now on you're only in London for the next 100 years or something, this would be a definite no. But also if someone said, you can't continue, you can't do the workshops on wholeness, or you can't continue the healing journey, I think it would be very strong. And it brings up a lot of emotions as well, because for us, I don't know if you agree with me, but for healers, and it would be men and women, we carry this wound of being burned. You know, if you were a witch or a wizard, you could be burned on a stake, and we carry it unconsciously. Obviously nobody will burn us, but there is still stigma attached to what we do in certain circles. So we can be burned by words, we can be burned by actions of other people. And it's also working through it. I love myself enough to take care of myself. And this is when the masculine steps in and saying, okay, I will take care of you so you can shine your light and you can do it. But yes, this would be my boundaries. If someone wanted to hurt my child, obviously I would immediately, like a lion.
Yeah, me too. There's this lioness, this roar that comes out. It's like, whoops, where did she came from?
And you know, soon probably she's the same way towards me now, which is nice.
Yeah.
And but it's, yes, this primal thing. You know, you don't touch my child. You don't hurt my child. This is very strong.
But also then inside of it says to me very strongly that you take what you are doing in your healing. It's deeply aligned to your core. So then that whole journey of having, I think when I started the healing process, because I always had these healing abilities, even as a small child, and all those kind of things, psychic abilities. But then going through theta healing, I started to take it seriously, saying, okay, now let's go. It's time. You feel when it's time, right? It's time, let's go. And I had to go through so many of these old core wounds, old memories of you can't do the bounds, even you can't talk about all of this because whatever. And we have so many old patterns in there, and I've seen a lot of them. It was a good thing to revisit those moments for a moment and then let it go. But the seriousness of not even the seriousness, but there's an inner passion of this is who I am. This is what why I'm here. So nobody is going to say you cannot talk about this stuff. Even when the deepest fear of me is saying, please don't talk about this. For me, it has always been like this, being also the people that I love very much, and groups of women. I love being in a group of women, but I was very afraid of being ostracized, being cast away, because I was never really, I never felt like I fitted in. Now I see so many women who feel I'm not fitting in, and actually we fit in with each other very, very well. But it's a different, when you come there as a free spirit, almost like, you come with something to change. And every change you bring is a little bit, it can be seen as a judgment to someone else's belief system, which is not why we are here to judge. But in order to change, there's always this moment of, ew, yeah, but that means that someone else can think we judge them. So we will receive that judgment upon us. That's a serious feeling. And then even that you have this boundary inside of you, but that says, you know what, I'm still going to do that. And I need to travel to feed my soul. That says a lot about you as well.
And this inner conviction and this inner drive, it's almost, you can't deny it. Once you've connected to your truth, to your inner self, there's no denying. You just have to do it. There's nothing you can do it. And people will agree or not, and different things will happen. You may be attacked, or you may be ostracized. But this is probably a different conversation, but it's this inner calling. Why are we here? Why me? Why am I supposed to do it? But yes, I know I've chosen it, and there's all these things, but we do question, especially when it gets difficult. You know, why me? Why this? Why that? But then
did you have
anyway.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
and also this questioning. No, I'm not a healer. No, I'm not, because I
Yeah.
had the preconception of what a healer is,
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's not me. And
Yeah.
no, a healer only raises people from dead, and I haven't raised anybody from dead yet.
Oh.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
not a great healer then.
Mm,
It's,
mm,
but
mm.
it's and again, if we talk about healing, we don't, again, a cliche, we don't heal people, we just hold them on their healing journey. We create the path, we guide them, we create the path. If this person doesn't want to heal, I could pull my teeth out, my hair, they won't heal.
Absolutely. Hey, is there
But
some?
if they're trusting, they will.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But nobody gets anywhere without them not fully agreeing. I want to change. I want to. There's something inside of me that I always feel it like there's something inside of each of us that longs to be unlocked, that longs to be like just it's to me it's almost like the light that wants to come in and activates the whole thing, like, okay, you are always about this, you always had this ability, it's not new, you have come with this, it's just fitting the right key, and now the lights get in, and whoop, there you are. It's, yeah. So, is there anything that you wish others would get? If you think there is there something that you think if others would get it, it would make their life much more valuable?
Yeah, what did I get? Maybe ask
Mm-hmm.
myself, what did I get to
Yeah,
make my life more
yeah.
valuable? One thing is that we can't do everything. And I'm a perfectionist, so
Mm.
obviously everything needs to be, but it's almost like, yes, we have almost limited time, we can't do everything. So let's do our best in what we can instead of beating ourselves. Oh, I haven't done this, I haven't done that. I'm also all about action, about doing things. And I think we need to learn to start trusting ourselves
Mm.
more instead, and this connection, heart and mind, we need both. But
Mm.
our mind, we live in such a mind-oriented society, and we
Yes.
need to listen deep. What is my heart? What is my gut? Our other brain telling me, the gut feeling.
Yeah. Yes.
And people need it in business. I know people who are amazing in business, and they listen to their gut, not the
Mm.
mind.
Exactly.
Mind is how I will fall, but my first decision is based on my intuition. So connecting to the intuition, which is the feminine side in us, and acknowledging I have intuition. Both men and women have it. So I think this would be the
Mm.
main things.
Mm. Ah, beautiful. So, um, so thank you so much for that last answer. That I, yeah, and really we haven't talked about the gut instinct, or for the women the womb instinct. So we can have another whole conversation about that, and I would love to. But let me ask you this last question: if people want to find you, where can we find you? And do you have a plan? Do you have some plans that you want to share with us?
Okay, so let's start with the easy bit, which is the website is www.healingandalignment.com.
Yeah,
We can put it in the notes
yeah.
as well. I have an Instagram, Healing and Alignment, and YouTube channel, Healing and Alignment, so it's all there. And now the more tricky bit. Yes, I obviously offer one-on-one sessions. When we do life alignment, we get to the core of the issue, we can clear it, or we can do distant healing. I do webinars, so the soul webinars I've talked about before, it's all on the website, and the
Yeah.
wholeness webinars. I'm actually just starting a new series, so I want to start on the 11th of March.
Mm-hmm.
It will be the third run of the wholeness webinars. When you finish, you can continue. I've also created an advanced stage, which is 4 webinars every second week, and it's about our calling. We've talked about our calling before.
Yes.
So our calling, but how do I express my calling? How do I enrich it with my essence? We all have this note, like you said, the musical note. So how do I enrich my calling with my essence? And also, what's my magnificence? What is
beautiful?
Because in the first 6, we really connect to the masculine, feminine. People discover so many new things. They really go forward and they combine the masculine and feminine in them. And they don't work against each other, they work together. So then in the second lot, we can work really with the mission. Why am I here? Am I calling? And how can I use this energy that I've got to know during the first sessions to really enrich my life and live my life fully, love myself unconditionally. And the plan for the future is working now with, I'm creating this course now, it's coming, about the 7 seals, because in the Bible it said that Christ took the 7 demons out of Mary Magdalene, and there's a lot of stories, but it's about this. In Christianity, it's the 7 sins, the 7 cardinal sins.
But yeah.
About, for me, it's the 7 mysteries. It's about the 7 mysteries that we carry in ourselves, and they have dark side and the light side. So, like anger, will have, or we have, I don't know, we have the lust, enslavement to the physical body. How can we work with it? It's not about, oh, you are an angry person or a lustful person. We have to acknowledge it and open this mystery, open this seal and transform it. And actually, Mary Magdalene, in her gospel, there is a gospel of Mary Magdalene, she talks about the 7 seals and about the 7 mysteries as well. So it's an amazing thing. It's coming. I don't know where it will lead, but
I would love to hear about it. I've had this the 22nd gene key very prominent in my hologram, and it is all about those 7 seals. Have you heard about it?
No, I haven't.
It's
I will definitely.
Really, really beautiful. It's the gene keys, and then you can create your hologram. And in Divine Sisterhood program, the Leadership Voice and Leadership program, we will work with that as well. But I'm very glad that I've come across those 7 seals as well, but I've not dived into them like you did. But it's such a beautiful thing to see it open up, because every shadow aspect has its gift and its city, right? It's divine gift as well.
Yes, it is. And I think, sorry, working with so many people, everybody's saying we're just so tired working with blockages and working with things. We need to start opening to receiving. So if there is a gift in this mystery, in this seal, maybe there will be some block to remove, but we're just so tired with working. You have been working for a very long time on yourself, I'm sure. I've been working on myself.
Yeah, but the idea of working is a little bit outdated, don't you think?
Yeah.
And let's enough of working. We've worked enough.
Yes.
just say it's so much more about saying yes.
And this receiving, we've talked about receiving the gift. What's the hidden gift there? What's happening there?
Yeah.
And it would be great, yes. And thank you for telling about this gene keys. Yes, I will definitely look into
it. These are the these
I've
are
seen
beautiful things of this, and then but I'm do you have an idea when you are ready to bring this to the people?
I'm already bringing the first 2 courses, and when there is, I think it would need to be a cohesive group. So when people have done the first 2 stages, then they could come together, probably 10 people, depending on how many it will be, because not everybody wants to continue. But it will be in the next few months, probably next month for May, so April, May.
So it's actually a sort of sequence: the divine, the divine masculine, divine feminine,
yes,
and then the more of the vocation, or would
the
you
calling,
calling, and then the 7 seals of what's the mystery behind everything?
What's the mystery, and what can we learn? And because if the divine feminine and masculine are to be fully embodied and fully shown, we have to go through the shame and shadow of all these things. And the old way would be they're the sins. We don't go into the sin and whatever. Now we are human. We have to embrace everything, even the sin. And like again in the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, Christ says there is no sin. We create the notion of sin. So this again different looking, and it's interesting we're talking about it as women, because we're really questioning what's been taught for thousands of years.
Oh yeah, I'm really rewiring myself with, okay, now we have had his history, and now please give my her story, and how does that look, and what when it becomes the we story. How does that sound, and what are different, and also the whole there's so much to go into. We can talk
forever.
Ever, I think. Oh, Katarzyna, let me try to tell your name. Can you say your own name one more time for us?
Yes, it's Katarzyna Rutkowska-Parkes.
Oh, I love how your name is beautiful. Thank you so grateful. Much for this.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so thank you for listening. I hope it made sense to you. I think it did.
To us.
I had a wonderful time in this conversation, and was really these conversations that really feed you. They feed my soul. They are about that really, because these kind of conversations are rare, and I know it that they are rare because we talk a lot, because we want to be right, or want to be acknowledged, or whatever. But to have a conversation, to find something of, okay, but what is the truth around this for you and for me, and to have that standing without it just to let it resonate inside of your heart. I think that's when you open up to somebody, to have that quality in mind, to, okay, let it just sometimes resonate what is being said inside of your heart before going into the brain, if it's right or if it's not right, because in the end that's not that well, what shall we say it? What shall we call it? It's not that interesting in the end.
It's not true.
Yeah, it can be true, but not from you. So from what's your heart's what's your own heart's truth? And I think we will leave you with this. And until next time, really try to find out more. If you want to see more about Katarzyna, go to healingandalignment.com. And she has a beautiful video channel as well. I will leave it behind here, and we'll speak to you later. Bye.